Seeking the truth never gets old. Introducing June's Journey, the free-to-play mobile game that will immerse you in a thrilling murder mystery. Join June Parker as she uncovers hidden objects and clues to solve her sister's death in a beautifully illustrated world set in the Roaring '20s. With new chapters added every week, the excitement never ends. Download June's Journey now on your Android or iOS device, or play on PC through Facebook Games.
Welcome to the True Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Taylor. Baddies, I'm back. I know it's been a while, and I know that I've been doing y'all wrong, and I'm really sorry. I mean, here's a couple of things. One is, as it turns out, when you're a creative for a living, you need time to create. And that was a big lesson that I learned. I just hadn't been feeling creative at all. And I think it was maybe I think I just honestly went through like my first true creative block in ever maybe. And I just I don't know. I just didn't know what to make. I didn't know what to say to you guys. I didn't know what to make. And so I just couldn't make anything. But so many things have happened in the last 72 hours. No, it's more than 72 hours. So many things have happened, have been in fruition. Although I haven't been here with y'all, I've been working on things behind the scenes. And a lot of those things are starting to, I guess I'm starting to reap the rewards. So I've got some big news. The first thing that I'm so excited to share with you is that your girl's going to grad school. That's right. Your girl, Elizabeth Taylor, the brown Elizabeth Taylor, is going to business school. Guys, I'm going to business school. I got into Fordham University. And the reason that I got into business school is because of this podcast, because of y'all, because of the community that we've built, because of the content that you keep encouraging me to make and that you tell me you love so much, and because of the future that I see for this community. And I'm just so thrilled. I can't even begin to explain to you how excited I am, how just ready for the next chapter of my life I am, but also just how excited to be back in school, working with the most incredible minds that New York City really has to offer, and just getting ready for the next phase of my life, the next era. I know that we already went into the new era of the podcast, but your girl's going into the new era of her life. And I'm so excited to go there with you. I'm so excited for you all to be here with me, to experience it and to celebrate with me. But that's what I've been doing. In the meantime, trying to figure out what to make next in terms of creativity, in terms of the podcast, trying to figure out what's next in my life. So I've been doing a lot of soul searching and a lot of just going within and taking time to figure things out. But I think I'm figuring it out. Pretty excited. So one of the things that I realized was that the reason that I love this podcast so much and the reason that I wanted to create it was that I love people. I love speaking with people. And when it was just me sitting here in my living room talking, I know that y'all are out there, but oftentimes it just seems like I'm talking to myself when I'm doing these solo episodes. And I just the passion sort of fell away because I'm not just here to listen to myself. I'm here to make connections and to build community and to have deep and meaningful conversations and learn something new. And hopefully together we can all learn something new. And so it took me a little bit to remember that. But from that, I was able to figure out what I want the show to feel like and look like going forward. So I'm very excited because the next season, I guess, this is all one season, but you guys know what I mean. The next series that we're going to go into, since coming out of vitamins and antioxidants and supplements, I was like, what can we talk about next? And when I figured it out, it was honestly pretty obvious. And that, my friends, is intrinsic aging. We talk a lot about extrinsic aging on the podcast, right? We talk about how the sun is the number one single biggest extrinsic aging factor. And that's why y'all are SPF stans. But there's a whole nother side of aging, and that's, what happens just naturally, just as we get older. And that's really what we're targeting when we talk about all of these different products. So I realized that in order for you to really get a handle on why each of these products we're using, right? Just like when we went through the vitamin series, we talked about how they affect us internally, but also how they affect our skin. And so I think that the way that you, Beauty Baddie, can learn about how to best choose the products that you need for your skin for the rest of your life is to learn about intrinsic aging and the different presentations of intrinsic aging, sort of generally blanketed. I know this is a multicultural podcast. This is a worldwide podcast. And of course, there are going to be certain things between different ethnicities, between different racial groups that aren't going to be as important or aren't going to be as prevalent, right? But I think that what we can do is take a really open, generalized look at the different factors that are going to be happening within your body and then presenting to the world through your skin, through your face. And from there, we can talk about the different treatments. And so the reason I'm so excited about this is because y'all know that I can't just talk about intrinsic aging like everybody else, right? Y'all know that I am pro-aging. I love getting older. I think that my 30s have been so much better than my 20s. And from what I understand, your 40s are even better. And girls, if your 40s are even better, your 50s, forget about it, right? It just keeps getting better and better. And I'm here to spread that gospel. And so I can't just speak about intrinsic aging from the point of view of like, all these terrible things are going to happen and we need to use all these products. Like I want to talk about the emotional things that we go through. I want to talk about the societal view of women and of aging. And I want to talk about it with different people. So part of this series, I'm going to be having conversations with some of my friends about how they feel about aging and how they feel about how society views aging, and just like having open discussions with different women from different demographics, different age groups. I just want to have this conversation. I'm just curious to know where everybody's head's at, right? I can't just, go down like everybody else when it comes to aging. I want to celebrate aging. I want you to celebrate aging. I've said it so many times before. There's never been a better time in history to be a woman living in America, I think. Even though, yes, there's a lot of terrible things going on with our reproductive rights, but the reality is that we not only have the autonomy to control the rate of our birth, which means that we can do things like go to grad school at the age of almost 38, right? And also, society doesn't frown on single women or women who want to go to work or women who want to have kids and stay at home or women who want to have kids and go to work. Like, we just have options. We have so many options that have never existed before. And even like science, y'all, my friends are freezing their eggs. They're like, bitch, I got money to make. I'm going to come back to having a kid later. They're freezing their eggs. That's never been possible before. Even more so, it's part of a lot of their benefit packages, which is incredible. So my point is just, and again, I have to say, I know that this isn't true everywhere. I know that in a lot of states, our rights are going back. But the point is, we have a lot of autonomy as women. We have so many choices that we can make, both personally and also socially. People don't look down upon women for doing a lot of things that, a generation ago they did. I remember asking the mother of a friend of mine, why they became a teacher. And they said, because it could either become a teacher or a secretary. Those used to be the options. We've got so many options now. So I'm 100% pro-age. And with that, after this week's episode, the following episodes, we're going to be talking about treatments. So this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the physical signs of intrinsic aging, the way that it presents itself. And then after these episodes, we're going to be talking about different treatment options. So next week, I'll be telling you about some of my favorite products. And the cool thing with this for me is that if you go to shop.truebeautypodcast.com and purchase any of the products that I'm telling you about from PCA, you are contributing to my grad school fund. So I appreciate that so much. But I'm also going to have people, experts on, who can talk about the things that I'm not a specialist in, right? So we're going to have an incredible dentist in to talk about how she approaches aging with teeth, with the smile. We're going to be speaking with Dr. Ben from Osmosis Beauty, which is one of my favorite brands. And he's going to be speaking with us about intrinsic aging. Y'all have heard the ad. One of our sponsors is OneSkin, and we have one of their badass PhD longevity scientists coming on to talk about senescent cells, which is a huge part of intrinsic aging. So I have all of these incredible people who really specialize in things that I'm not an expert in, so that you can take home how you can care for your skin intrinsically. But we're also going to start each episode with a little conversation between myself and one of my friends about what their thoughts of aging are. So we're going to start just on like a light note, and then we're going to talk about, what y'all are here for, the goods, the products. But I can't, just pretend like it's all doom and gloom, because ladies, it's just getting better and better. And my hope is that, fingers crossed, the next generation can do even better than us. So with that, let me do my part and help y'all age like a fine wine. You do y'all's part and do the most that you can with the time that we got. And when we come back from this little break, we're going to jump into my favorite segment. That's right. I got another Beauty Baddie Hall of Fame inductee for you. Finally, I got somebody for y'all. Before we jump into my favorite segment of the show, which is the induction into the Beauty Baddie Hall of Fame, I have a favor to ask of you. You know what it is. If you find value in today's show, if you could do me a favor and please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, I would be so, so grateful. A 5-star review is the easiest way for you to help to grow our audience and this community. And it's what I love. I love this audience, love our community. We'll be right back. All right, baddies. So the Beauty Baddie Hall of Fame. In this segment, we pay homage to some of our favorite heroes of past and present and teach the Beauty Baddie community about who they are and why they're being inducted. So today, I'm inducting into the Beauty Baddie Hall of Fame Martha Stewart. Gasps. I know. It's a little bit off, right? But we're speaking today about intrinsic aging, and Martha Stewart, at the age of 80, was just the oldest model to ever grace the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. And Martha Stewart, that's really what got me, honestly, like paying attention to her. That and the fact that I love her relationship with Snoop Dogg. I just think that it's very sweet. And when I saw that relationship going on, I knew that there had to be more to this white woman who I didn't really know too much about. And so with that being said, one of my favorite podcasts, You're Wrong About, has an incredible episode from June 22nd, 2022. And it's on Martha Stewart, and it's Martha Stewart with the guest host, Sarah Archer. And so a lot of what I'm going to be talking to you about right now came from that episode, and it's what got me standing Martha Stewart. And I encourage you to go listen to it if you want to learn more about her. And also, this is just a great show because the host, Sarah Marshall, does an incredible job of just looking at women through history from a critical lens and really telling the true story of who they are when it's not through the lens of the male gaze. And it's really cool. It's really great. So I'm going to be paraphrasing a little bit about what they were talking about on You're Wrong About. In case you don't really know too much about who Martha Stewart is, what she stands for, kind of what her role within society was, this I think is a really good summation to kind of get us caught up to why I stand her, and I hope that you will also. So to paraphrase, this is feminism in 1926. The general zeitgeist was saying that women deserve things to make their work easier. And then the makers of appliances saw that water and gas and electricity are coming into more and more apartments. And so the advertisers realized that they could start casting appliances as quote unquote invisible servants. And that's sending a message that you can become a different person, a different class of person. And so then by the time we get to mid-century, you have this advanced kitchen, and you as the woman are not a housekeeper, you're not on your hands and knees cleaning the floor anymore because you've got these appliances. So you're now elegantly managing your desk and your information center. You're the boss. And then around 1970, the packagedness and efficiency and ease is helpful, but this idea comes about that if machines are doing everything for you, then where's the creative energy in domestication, in housekeeping? And Martha turned a version of performative domesticity into her business. But to do this, she had to unravel all of the efficiencies that made housework more streamlined. So it manifests a world where the only kind of housework you do is the housework that you like. And it presumes that you have someone to help you with the other stuff. And in that respect, it sounds a lot like being a man. And so when I heard the hosts of the show of the You're Wrong About describe Martha in this way, it changed my mind about her because, like I said, I just always saw this, white woman that was like very elegant and portrayed this class and this lifestyle. And it was really without knowing who she was. And who she was, she came from a blue collar family, worked her way up. And because she couldn't, just blend in with the upper crust that she was now living among, she sort of had to learn how to emulate it, how to become this quote unquote perfect housewife, how to do all of these domesticated things. And then once she could do the things that she enjoyed doing, she was smart enough to turn it into a business. But then, you have women in the 90s that are looking at Martha Stewart. Like Martha Stewart didn't make things semi-homemade like Rachel Ray. She was just like, no, this is all fresh ingredients from the hens that lay organic eggs in my East Hampton townhouse. Like it was just all very bourgeois. But to her credit, the woman knew what she wanted to do. She worked for it and she got it. And I love a woman who knows what she wants. So this is to sort of summarize Martha Stewart's empire in the mid-90s. So around 1996, she could claim a 5-year-old magazine with a circulation of 1.5 million, a popular cable TV show, a dozen wildly successful gardening, cooking, and lifestyle books, a mail order business, a nationally syndicated newspaper column, a regular Wednesday slot on The Today Show, and a line of $110 gallon paints in colors inspired by the eggs that her hens lay. She's pretty incredible. So in the late 90s, she was able to purchase her rights back from Time Warner Cable, launching her own media empire and taking her company public. And this is how Martha Stewart became America's first self-made billionaire. I didn't know that she was America's first self-made billionaire. In 2001, she went to jail for insider trading and she stepped down as the CEO of her companies, but she remains the creative director. And so she was able to continue her success to today, where, as I mentioned, she made history again as being the oldest model to pose on the cover of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. I said she was 80. I just looked it up. She was 81 when she posed. And just to surmise everything about Martha Stewart, my favorite relationship that she has, obviously I mentioned this before, is with Snoop Dogg. And I think that her brilliance shows in their marketing collaborations. Like they have this collaboration with Bic lighters. And I remember seeing this ad, and I think that it was maybe like a cardboard cutout in Walmart. And she's using her Bic lighter to light a candle. Snoop's using his to light a blunt. And together, they're just like the best of friends. And I love the idea that Martha Stewart is cooking him like these exquisite meals, like the most delicious food. And he's just like stoned and like showering her with like rhyming compliments. And they're just like laughing together. And she also owns shares in a cannabis company in Canada. Martha is a baddie. Martha, girl, welcome to the Beauty Baddie Hall of Fame. It's about time. Get in here. All right, so let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we are talking about intrinsic aging. I can't wait. Be right back. All right, beauty buddies, y'all know how difficult I have a time of exercising. I discuss this a lot on the show. I feel my best when I'm moving and when I feel strong and when I'm doing my routines consistently. But as a person who is neurodivergent, it's hard for me to keep up with my routines. I start out my week saying I'm going to be doing all of these great things for myself. And then before you know it, she's on the couch watching Netflix, which is fine, but we all need a little bit of exercise in our life. We all feel better when we're moving. It's great for our bodies. It's great for our skin. It's great for our health. And there's nothing wrong with needing a little bit of accountability sometimes to help you get into the zone. And that's why I love Copilot, and my personal Copilot, her name is Lily. She's my incredible trainer. So Copilot is an incredible new way to begin or to extend your exercise journey. You can have links that provide you with an affordable, real-life personal trainer. And my personal trainer, like I just said, her name is Lily, and Lily is incredible. She was in South Africa. I'm in New York, as you know, but we were able to speak and to connect via the app and have this incredible conversation. And she asked me everything that was going on with my life. And you know me, I just had diarrhea of the mouth. I just started telling her everything about my plans to go to grad school and that I'm a podcaster and how I'm in this big transitionary period of my life. And she was just so kind and supportive. And, I told her about my little exercise routine that I do each week and why I enjoy it. And she created my personalized exercise plan, incorporating the things that I already do and that I already love, but, giving them that real life trainer, professional expertise that I needed, to the point that, girls, my thighs were burning. They were burning by the time I was finished with my exercise routine with Lily. I absolutely loved it. So I think that the 3 benefits of using Copilot is that you have real person accountability, there's flexibility, so you can, figure out whenever you want to exercise, so you're not chained to going at a specific time or trying to go to a specific class around your work and life and babies and all these things. You can exercise and work out when you want. The other thing that I love is that this expert training is affordable. So it's, you don't have to be super rich to be able to afford Copilot. It's super affordable, and it's a really great cost-effective option compared to traditional in-person training. So Copilot has honestly really enhanced my life in that your girl is working out consistently. I've never felt better. I've got more energy. My body's looking banging, which is always the great side effect of working out. But really, I just feel great. I feel like I said, strong. And I'm feeling strong physically. I'm feeling strong mentally. And I know that I can tackle everything that life throws at me. And y'all know it's throwing a lot at your girl's way. So, beauty baddies, I'd love for you to follow my lead to get fit and feel fabulous. Give Copilot a try to find out why it was listed by Forbes as the top-rated personal trainer app of 2023. Head to go.mycopilot.com/truebeauty to get a 14-day free trial with your own Lily. She may or not be Lily. You're going to get your own personal trainer. So go to go.mycopilot, that's mycopilot.com/truebeauty to get free 14 days, a free 14-day trial with your very own personal trainer. You're going to love it. Trust me. Take a back seat and let Copilot help you reach your fitness goals. Okay, so the characteristics that we think of when we think of aging, skin, they come from both intrinsic and extrinsic factors. And on this show, we've spoken a lot about extrinsic aging, right? We've spoken a lot about the UV rays that account for 95% of all extrinsic aging. 95% of all extrinsic aging come from the sun. That's nuts. But even if we slather on like the most SPF, we still have to consider intrinsic aging, which is, the natural factors that are just leading to the deterioration of our bodies that's happening through our lifetime. And so intrinsic aging refers to the natural cellular aging process that occurs through daily living, and it's generally predetermined by our genetics, as opposed to, like I said, extrinsic aging that occurs through external factors such as the sun, pollution, all of these things. So today we are going to be speaking about the physical changes that we characterize in aging faces. And like I mentioned before, the next episode, I'm going to be speaking about the different products that you can use for your epidermis. We're going to be breaking down the 3 layers of the skin today because all of them contribute to intrinsic aging. the reason, like I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, the reason that I want to speak about this is because the things that we're going to discuss are going to affect the type of product that you want to purchase, depending on your skincare needs. So we're going to be speaking in wide generalities, and from all of the different potential aging factors. So with everything that I share with you today, you can determine what you're going to need because you'll see what your mama looks like, what your grandma looks like, what your sister looks like, right? Like you're going to know what to look for in the products because you're going to know what your skin's generally going to need because you generally have an idea of how you're going to age based on, like I just mentioned, genetic factors. And so that's all well and good. But if you don't know on top of that, like, okay, yes, my mom tends to have fine lines and wrinkles. So I'm probably going to have fine lines and wrinkles because my grandmother did also. But you're going to learn today, like why your mom and your grandmother have fine lines and wrinkles, like what it was that's actually breaking down to cause that so that you can then get the products that you're going to need to start to build more collagen and more hyaluronic acid. Because as you're going to learn today, that's what's going to start to cause fine lines and wrinkles is the natural degradation of your collagen and your hyaluronic acid. We're excited, right? I am. Okay, great. All right, beauty baddies. So we've mostly spoken about the epidermis on this show because that's, as an esthetician, that's the layer of skin that I'm licensed to treat. But in actuality, the skin is composed of 3 primary layers: the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous tissue. So your epidermis is the outermost superficial layer of skin. So this is what we can actually see, and it has 5 layers within it. The dermis lies between the epidermis and the subcutaneous fat, and the dermis is responsible for the thickness, the strength, the elasticity, and the volume of your skin because it produces elastin, collagen, and hyaluronic acid in the dermis. Between the epidermis and the dermis lies the epidermal-dermal junction, and that provides structural support between the epidermis and the dermis. It also provides a highly dynamic microenvironment. And then below that is the subcutaneous layer. And that's where we're going to have fat, tissue, bones, other layers of everything else that makes up your body. So today's conversation, we're going to start speaking with the epidermis. Speaking about the epidermis, we're going to go down through the layers from the top into the body. So starting with the epidermis, this is the layer that we can see, like I just mentioned, but it's also the layer that we can treat on our own with cosmeceuticals and topical products. So you can go into Sephora, you can go to Derm Store, you can go into Duane Reade, and you can get products off the shelf that are going to change your epidermis. And that's great because that's where we're going to see immediate results using these products. So dullness and texture changes are caused by the decrease in both our body's natural rate of skin cell renewal, we always talk about this, and the rate at which our bodies naturally shed dead skin cells. So this leads to a buildup of dead skin cells on the surface of our skin. Our epidermis is a self-renewing tissue, and it relies on its cells to stay young, to keep dividing and repopulating the epidermal layers. However, as we age, these cells divide less and the epidermis gets thinner. These cells, which don't replicate as well as they used to, become senescent cells, which can realize inflammatory factors, and they're now believed to be a major cause of skin aging. I want to talk about senescent cells because they're kind of the baddies of beauty right now, not in a good way. They're the homies we're trying to take down. And this is where one of our guests really specializes in. One of our sponsors of the show is OneSkin, and one of the reasons that they are so incredible is because they spent years researching senescent cells, which are also known as zombie cells. I really wanted to describe them to you, but I'm really going to leave this up to one of the doctors that's going to be on to discuss this. But just think of it as if your cells, it's not that your skin cells stop replicating, they just become zombie versions of themselves and begin replicating those zombie cells. So, and your body stops to be able to get rid of them because our lymphatic systems and the other systems that we use to rid our bodies of toxins as we age also become sort of less effective. So our cells are just made up of all these zombie cells that keep replicating, and it's just a hot mess. So that's also what's going on within the epidermis and also within the dermis is these senescent cells, these zombie cells starting to take over our young, beautiful, dynamic cells. Another change that occurs within the skin is the skin's ability to maintain barrier homeostasis. Y'all know I'm always looking for at least one place in an episode to talk about my impaired barrier. And this is what I'm always talking about. My barrier, unfortunately, is naturally impaired. And if you have any type of sensitized skin, generally you have some sort of something going on that's impairing your barrier. But guys, secret revealed, as we age, this is another problem, is that all of our barriers are slowly becoming impaired. So our skin, which is also the layer that we're speaking about right now, is called the stratum corneum. It normally has an acidic pH within younger skin. That's what I'm always talking about, right? I'm always talking about how we need our skin to maintain between a 4.5 and a 5.5 pH to be able to aid in microbial defense, right? And to function properly. So as we age, the pH in our skin increases, which leads to changes in our skin's natural barrier. And so because of this, our skin is more easily damaged and it repairs itself slower due to the deficiency in lipids such as cholesterol, ceramides, and fatty acids. Again, y'all know I'm here for fat. I'm pro-fat and pro-age. So next, going down through our skin from the epidermis. In between the epidermis and the dermis is the dermal epidermal junction, aka the DEJ. So the DEJ begins to flatten in intrinsically aged skin. And so this leads to a diminished surface area for nutrients, cells, and signaling molecules to traverse. I love that. I love the idea of these cells traversing with each other. And so, as I mentioned before, the epidermal-dermal junction is, now we're finding out, home to a highly dynamic microbiome. And as it begins to flatten, the surface area diminishes. There's less area for the nutrient cells to traverse. And all of this also leads to skin fragility and decreased transport between the epidermis and dermis and impeded cellular communication. So our cells can't even talk to each other. They're calling out, they can't hear each other. It's a hot mess. So next, the structural components of the dermis. We're going down into the dermis, y'all. We've never spoken about this really on our show. So the structural components of the dermis give it its thickness, volume, strength, cushioning, ability, and resilience associated with youthful skin. So that means that it's really important. I just named everything that we need from the dermis that we associate with beautiful young skin. But as we age, our dermis thins by up to 20%. Changes to our dermis include the loss and breakdown of elastin and collagen, which leads to thinner, fragile skin with fine lines, and like I mentioned before, an increase in those senescent zombie cells. So y'all, we're coming up to the end, but really quickly, let's talk about collagen and elastin. Both collagen and elastin are what degrade and lead to the physical signs of intrinsically aged skin, such as fine lines and sagging skin. And so collagen makes up 75% of the dry weight of the skin. That's a lot. And it provides durability, thickness, resilience, and the youthful appearance to our skin. So increasing collagen has been the focus of a lot of anti-aging research and the target of skin products for decades. So although we can use topical cosmeceuticals to increase collagen synthesis, and we're not going to talk about that now, we'll talk about that next episode. Elastin, on the other hand, cannot be replicated. So elastin prevents our skin sagging by providing recoil and stretch, but because older skin is characterized by reduced elastin production and the accumulation of damaged elastin, as we age, our skin begins to sag. Here's something very interesting that I didn't know, is that elastinogenesis starts during fetal life and reaches its maximum near birth and early neonatal period. So after that, it decreases significantly until it's virtually almost non-existent in adult life. So basically, elastin stays in our skin for decades without becoming renewed. And so it's really susceptible to damage over time. Like I just said, there are so many different products, topical products and treatments to stimulate collagen production, but elastin, up until Dr. Bauman printed her book this past summer, elastin can't be stimulated by any topically applied cosmeceutical ingredient or drugs. And even though a lot is known about elastin, its prevalence in cosmetic dermatology is negligible because there's really no treatments that have been proven to increase skin elastin content. So we gotta really take care of this once in a lifetime tissue that we have. So lastly, let's talk about the subcutaneous layer and beyond. So the face is composed of skin, fat, muscles, cartilage, and bone, and each of these changes with age. The epidermis thins and develops an uneven tone, like we just mentioned, and the dermis thins by as much as 20% with the loss of collagen and hyaluronic acid, resulting in natural dehydration and fine lines. And then as we begin to lose elastin as we age, our skin begins to sag. However, it's the loss of fat, muscle, and bone that cause the shape and volume alterations characteristic of facial aging, and all of this takes place within the subcutaneous tissue. So y'all, with natural aging, the face becomes more square-shaped as the brows lower, our cheeks flatten, and we begin to see the loss of distinctive arches and curves on our face, such as the lowering and widening of the chin and the loss of jaw definition. And this is due to facial bone resorption, facial muscle lengthening, and they also become stiffer, and the fat pads in our face begin to change size and position. I know that was a lot. That was a lot to take in for intrinsic aging, but I'm going to leave y'all here because, like I said, the next few episodes, we're going to be talking about treatments. We're going to be talking about the products that you can use, the treatments that we can do to help with all of these. But even more importantly, I think, is we're going to be talking about what is great about aging, all of the beautiful things about getting older, how we think, not even how I think. Y'all know how I think. I'm going to be asking my friends. I'm going to be asking my family. I'm going to be asking you guys. Y'all write in and tell me, how do you feel about getting older? What do you think? What does your generation think? What do you think that society thinks? I'm just so curious to have this conversation because, like I said up top, we are we're lucky. My girl Zadie Smith once said, the only luck that you have in life is where, at what time in history, and to whom you're born. And y'all, we were born here. We were born here in 80s, 90s, aughts, 70s babies out there, maybe 60s babies. Shout out to Sharice Taylor. I know you're listening. And it's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be a woman. So that's what we're going to be talking about over the next couple of episodes, my beauty baddies. I'm so happy to be back here with y'all. And please do me a favor. Check out shoptruebeautypodcast.com. Next week, I'm going to be telling you about all of my favorite products that you can get. But if you want to get a sneak peek on any of the PCA products that I've been telling y'all about for years, they're all there. Contribute to my grad school fund, babies. I need it, please. Again, if you found value in today's show, please do me a favor and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help grow this community. You can DM or email your listener letters and your beauty baddie moments of the week on Instagram at The True Beauty Podcast or truebeautypodcast@gmail.com. You can follow my personal Instagram. I'm at The Brown Elizabeth Taylor. And you can always make a virtual skincare appointment at truebeautybrooklyn.com. That's all. I will see y'all next week. I promise you that. Bye.